Hi guys, and hopefully there'll be somebody tuning in to this at some point. The idea of this broadcast is to advertise my book, Graceful Thoughts. It is the re-edition of the book that I've now sold 100 copies of. And what I've been told by people who know more about tech than I do is that people engage better with videos than they do with the spoken word. So I thought I would, as I usually do, dive in with both feet and just see what I could come up with in regards to advertising. I've just got the order in for 100 copies, and I'm looking at ways of selling them. The influences behind the book, if you think of the old style book of Aesop's Fables, Aesop's Fables was a book from my childhood, and it basically consisted of the moral and a story. So the story would come first, and then there would be a moral of the story at the end. And that's what I'm heavily influenced by, is the moral of the story. So when I do any considerations, when I'm out for my walks with my lovely dogs in the woods that are local to me, what we tend to do is walk round for about an hour, and then I just notice my environment, being in this stillness and just being in the quiet, and then considering that what nature shows you, and what little storyline that life has got going on while you're worrying about other things. So the idea behind this is a sales pitch. So what I've looked at doing is I've looked through the book myself, and the idea is to read a quick chapter from it to give you an idea of what the sort of contents of the book that you're going to get if you purchase. As it says on the screen there, it's available from me directly at £7 plus £2 postage and packing. I've got it down to do it in the best way that I possibly could, price-wise. And I do believe it's good value for money because, as it says in the introduction with this book, that it is one of those books that you can pick up and put down and read at any chapter, because there'll be a seed of thought there. There'll be something planted in your mind that will give you consideration. I'd just like to say that I've done it through love, light, and upliftment is always my idea. I'm not an expert on anything. I just enjoy what I do. So what I'm going to give you from here is a chapter called The Tree and the Crow. And the majority of the work that I do, as I say, comes from walking around Hartsome Park, which is very near me in Lincoln. So if you're ever around that area and you see a guy with his hood up and two dogs walking, it may well be me. And if you come across me and we have a chat, you might be the influence for my next chapter. So I give you The Tree and the Crow. When I write, I take inspiration from anywhere or anything. And this is the joy of non-conventional thinking. I talk to an American friend who offers many nuggets of wisdom and challenges me to stretch thinking past its current limitations. We discuss some of the pressures and the problems that are present in the world. And I expressed a lack of interest in the relentless scaremongering and saturated media coverage. She replies, "You can't hide from it." And that's true, I reply, but I can also choose not to buy into the hype. I appreciate genuine issues are going on all the time, but I like to think that I ground myself in reality and act when there is something tangible. With new information and supposition, I consider ways to work through or deal with the issues, information, or problems. I internalize written words or vocal comment, and then I process accordingly. My friend is determined to persuade me that difficulties must be addressed. The head in the sand approach will not make them go away. Now, my counter argument is based on the reasoning I choose how I invest my life's hours and review potential scenarios. And I conclude that there is no point in investing in the precious asset of time in anything that can have no definitive conclusion. I can make choices about work, family, friends, and my future, but it is impossible to assess the full implications or results of these issues that have multifaceted and diverse aspects. Many thoughts are fleeting, and to form some clarity, my preference is to grab the dog's leads and head for the park. The healing aspects of the trees and the wildlife and nature always settle nervousness or apprehension. During contact with nature's power and energy, my thoughts flow, and I'll ask, where will you take me today? What pathway or view will be explored. Well, my friends, here we go again. My great friend in Timothy and I have enjoyed much time and thousands of words talking about daily life and spiritual matters. Usually an article or a podcast is the result of these engagements. Also, Ian has a magical habit of dropping a pebble of wisdom into my thought pond, and he watches as the ripples of ideas lead me to diverse conclusions. The latest has had a profound effect. He said, put some articles together and we'll make it into a book. Wow, I was blown away. And that's an understatement. Now, amongst the excitement, consideration must be made about the investment of the effort to go into this project. The secret to any investment is the return that you get from it. Consider that any thoughts, deeds, and actions are all potential investments of your time and energy, and as such, must have a positive return. The idea is growing, alive, and well. And I'll quote one of my favourite eclectic thinkers, Cus D'Amato. He was Mike Tyson's trainer. A boy comes to me with a spark of interest. I feed the flash, and it becomes a flame. I feed the flame, and it becomes a fire. I feed the light, and it becomes a roaring blaze. Ian sparked the idea. My task is now fanned until it becomes that blaze. The problem with authors and writers is that people who publish often have deadlines to meet. I am very fortunate. I have no such pressures, as my creativity is free-flowing and variable. I'm now faced with the decision to try and force an idea or wait for true inspiration to find the answer. I walk into the woods, and no more than 800 meters into the park, I see a sign. It's relatively simple. It's just a crow in the tree, but I feel there is more to discover. The crow sits in the bare tree, exposed to the elements, buffeted by the winds. Its feathers are being ruffled. I wonder about the crow's purpose. Is it intent on collecting branches and twigs to build a nest and provide shelter against things to come? For a crow, times of difficulty or seemingly impossible odds have no real impact. It continues with its life, its nature, its purpose. The black corvid is focused and follows its instinct. It is building a nest. The wind may blow. The elements may be against it. But I watch it follow its intuition, collecting twigs, building the nest, and provide the shelter. Of course, the conclusion is, in times of difficulty, keep going. Do what a natural, focus on the road or the goal ahead. Effort and perseverance will bring reward in the short term and the future. I observed the crow for a while, marveling at its tenacity. I then adjusted my focus to the tree. By its sheer size, the tree led me to believe it had been there tens of years, probably a few human lifetimes, and it's well established, deep-rooted and standing firm. It didn't grow overnight, and indeed, it hasn't thrived without a test or two. It occurs to me that people could relate to a tree. A goal or an inspirational thought could only become active if it is deeply planted. It can take a good while to grow and become established, given the right environment and nurturing, and it will grow to survive and thrive. A further consideration is needed. A tree, in whatever environment is in, will thrive. It will adapt. Whatever the season is, it follows its nature. This is the key to its survival. Winter, letting go of its foliage, nurturing those around it, preparing for the better times and the next cycle of change. It stands firm in difficult times, deep-rooted and within the moment of time or experience. In spring, the tree sprouts greenery, preparing for new life while still supporting everything around it. Its branches, broken by winds and storms, provide shelter for little animals and insects. Its growth prepares for the better times ahead. Summer heralds the time where the tree comes into its own. Its beautiful foliage now demonstrates its immense strength. Consider the weight of 1,000 leaves. Roots are deep in fertile ground. Now is the time for it to enjoy the sun's warmth and the magic of full bloom. It is following the patterns of nature. Soon autumn arrives. The tree growth slows and the foliage dies. If the tree thinks, It knows it will bloom once more, and as the seasons pass, winter signifies the end of the cycle and the tree sleeps. Now, today we've considered a crow and a tree. You'll find them in all woodlands. The crow gathers materials to make the nest complete. It knows how to build it strong enough to weather storms, which is its method. It achieves success because the nest will shelter new life. That's its purpose. It follows its nature regardless of the harsh realities of a tough environment. It thrives because it doesn't yield. The tree grows whatever circumstances surround it, and it follows nature's decree, come what may. It adapts to its environment. A lightning flash could ruin its beauty forever, and yet it still grows, durable and robust, and changes to adapt to its environment. Do the tree and the crow parallel the human condition? Not in every way, but there are significant lessons here. One experience is it takes its time to be in the place of your desires, and success evasive without extraordinary effort. Another consideration is long-term outcomes. Does the tree continue to grow, or is it cut into logs, or does it fall into disrepair and decay and go back into earth? In any event, it contributes to its environment as a food source, a shelter for animals, or even building a wooden house for humans. The crow demonstrates fortitude, consistent effort, and following of nature. It's a scavenger, clearing the dead and the decay. The crow is tough, and yet to some it's an ugly bird, and yet it has a critical part to play in our lives. You are like the crow and the tree. You matter in your environment, and you do contribute despite challenges. Remember, those who focus on completing tasks keep evolving. Those who become flexible enough to ride with the changes nurture their hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and they enjoy success. People who consider every step and action prepares them for the next season of life, and they become strong like the tree. Life can be harsh, so enjoy the summertime moments to grow and become healthy. Embrace fully the hardships of winter, remembering spring and new beginnings will always await. You are a uniquely talented individual who is priceless because there is nobody like you. Make a blueprint of the best version of you, who you can be. What do you wish to achieve? And choose to shine. Become a fantastic living human being. Be an inspiration. Now, the inspiration, as it says from behind that passage, is walks in nature. And the idea, as I say, with all of this recording is to get people to look at themselves in a more favourable way. It's been said to me quite a number of times that people wished that they could be inside my mind for a while. And I always reply, it's no easy task. But this has been an endeavour that's taken 3 years, and I am immensely proud of the work that I've done. And I know whether I'm going to do any more of the books? I've probably got enough material because I'm a bit of a doodler and a note taker and a journaler. So maybe something will come out of this. But as I say, this is a live advert for me. If you've taken the time to see it through to the end, thank you very much. It is, as I say, on the screen there, available for £7 plus £2 postage and packing, which I think is fairly reasonable for a book these days. And the good thing about this lovely book there is it fits into your pocket. It's a nice pocket-sized edition of a book. You can make notes on it or do whatever you please. And the gentleman there that stood on the hill is a representation of me and my considerations. So, as I say, if you took the time out to listen to all of this, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you.